What's going on, guys? Andrew back here again today with another Newcastle Queer Mode episode. Last episode, we played 3 games, 2 in the league and 1 in the League Cup. And to be quite honest, we fared pretty well. But for right now, we are looking at possibly another striker option. I mean, Mario Mandzukic, that's just wishful thinking because he is going to cost a lot. His wages are going to be a lot. So that's wishful thinking. I mean, that's a pipe dream. That's not going to happen. But what is going to happen right now is Newcastle versus Chelsea at St. James's Park. Just a live looking at the table, we are 6 points behind Chelsea, 4 points behind the third team in third place with a game in hand. So if somehow, some way, we can beat Chelsea today, we'll be 1 point back of third place and 3 points back of first place. So if we're gonna do it, we have to stop that man on the screen right there, Eden Hazard. He is arguably, on his day, arguably the best player in the Barclays Premier League. I mean, that guy can do everything. He can dribble, he can shoot, he can pass. He's unbelievable. And to think he's only 23, 24 years old, that's unbelievable. I mean, well, in my opinion, he's without a doubt a future Ballon d'Or winner. I mean, he is incredible. When you take into consideration of how young he is and how well he plays on a consistent basis, it's kind of scary to think about because he is. I think when Messi and Ronaldo are retired, I think it's going to be Neymar versus Hazard. I mean, on his day, like I just said, he is probably one of the best players in the world, but enough of that. I mean, first half, 0-0 coming to a close. Nothing really to nothing to get really excited about because honestly I was surprised. Chelsea weren't that threatening going forward, but on the other side of the ball, neither were we. It was kind of tough for us to get anything going because I knew it was gonna be a tough game going into it. I was kind of in the mindset like, right, if we can get 1 point, that's great. Just don't drop all 3 points because points at any time of the season they're pretty vital. I mean, obviously they're vital because that's what you play for. You play to win. But we come close here in the 63rd minute to break the deadlock. Cabela with a long shot that just skims the outside of the net. And here in the 75th minute, I thought I was going to score right there with Talvin, but I think Czech was playing. Czech at full stretch, I mean, that dude's a giant. It's tough to get anything by him when he's playing well because, I mean, with the dilemma that Chelsea have with goaltending, actually it's Courtois, as you can see right there. With Courtois and Czech, I mean, those are two world-class goalies. I mean, I think both of them are top 10. I mean, then you can consider the guys like Nakacius, Bravo, De Gea, Buffon, Weinfeller, Neuer, those guys like that. Those guys are all in consideration for top 10, but when you have two of the top 10 goalies on your team, you can go with anybody and be confident going into a game. But late stages in the game here, Chelsea come really close to breaking the deadlock, but it just wasn't meant to be. This game would, in fact, end as a 0-0 draw with neither team really coming dangerously close to scoring. I mean, we both had some shots on target, but nothing to work the goalie about. So, 0-0, St. James Park, Chelsea, Newcastle. Can't be too angry. We came away with the point. And our top 4 rivals, again, Arsenal, away at the Emirates. Arsenal, again, much like I think I mentioned last episode or 2 episodes ago, I forget. Arsenal, when you play them on career mode, I don't know what it is, but they kind of just play like Barcelona. They pass the ball about really well. They don't really seem to take. I mean, they take chances because obviously you have to take chances to win. But Arsenal, when they play well on career mode, they're tough to break down. I mean, there's no doubt about that because the way computers play, they position themselves pretty well. And when you have a big burly center back like Murdersacker, and then a fairly big and burly center back with pace in Koscielny, that's pretty difficult to break down. And then when the midfield, when you got guys like Cazorla, Ramsey, and Ozil, I mean, as you can see from Arsenal's current form in real life, I mean, I think they've won something like 15 or 16 out of possible 18 games they've recently played. And, I mean, when you have a midfield like that, and then you bring guys like Giroud when on form, he's not world class, but there's no denying his talent. I mean, he's a great player. Alexis Sanchez he's found a home at Arsenal. He's playing out of his mind, and there's no real sign of him slowing down. And 60th minute right here, we get a yellow card. Remy Cabello picking it up, the captain. And late first half and the early stages of the second half, it was pretty apparent that Arsenal were going for it, being the home side, and probably, to be fair, to be favored to go on and win this game, and they come really close. I think that was Murdersacker with the header that just comes off the crossbar. And as you can see in the top left, they brought on, I think that was Ozil, and I think only him and Carlos Baca, and Baca with his second touch of the game puts home the game's first goal. Arsenal's number 9, making it 1-0. No doubt about that one. I mean, that's what he's there for. I mean, he will score you goals because I've used him in the past on career mode and on Ultimate Team with his past informs and whatnot. He's a good player. I mean, in game, he's got the finishing, he's got decent pace, and he's got good enough strength to hold you off and get a chance away. But 83rd minute, Remy Cabella gets sent off, the captain, and I mean, that result was definitely fair. I mean, 1-0 to Arsenal. They could have had 2 or 3, but we definitely weren't threatening them too much to deserve anything from that game. But we can't dwell on that for too long, as I have to make some substitutions right here due to the red card. And yeah, we can't dwell on that for too long. And what perfect game to play than Burnley, a relegation side, and just regain confidence. But early stages of this game, I don't know how they didn't score right there. That was awful defending. He was through on goal, and thankfully for me, he misses just wide of the net. And later on, we are on the attack. Yama getting the ball, finding Dybala inside the box, cutting it back. Musa Sissoko. I mean, forget about that. I mean, that ball hits the inside of the upright, caresses ever so nicely on the side netting all the way around, and 1-0 to Newcastle fairly early on in the game is exactly what we needed after the poor performance against Arsenal and the draw against Chelsea. We need to get back to winning ways, and that man right there, Musa Sissoko, I think that's now his 3rd goal in the past 2 episodes and counting. So he is definitely finding his form, which going forward, we're going to need several players to actually find their form. Son hasn't been playing that well. Sissoko is coming to form now. And guys like, Talvin's out of the lineup now. Dybala and Cabella I mean, they're playing as well as you could possibly ask right now. But, yeah, going forward, we need to just, as a whole, score more goals, as I mentioned last episode, because defensively, we're good. I mean, Krul's good, and then the back lineup of Haidara, Taylor, Zambrano, and Yamat. I mean, I'm pretty certain that looking back at the table in between episodes, I think we have the best defensive record in the Premier League, with something crazy like 7, 8, 9, or only 10 goals conceded in, I think, the now 13 games we've played. So conceding less than 1 goal a game is definitely a recipe for success, but what's a recipe for disaster is scoring only 7 or 8 more goals than you've conceded, scoring just over 1 goal a game. So we need to definitely bring that up. If we're going to be finishing into the top four, we need to bring that up probably to somewhere around a goal differential of 20 to 30, because teams like Chelsea, Manchester City, United, Arsenal, they're going to score their goals because they've got the world-class talent, but with our recent results minus the loss at Arsenal and the tie against Chelsea, dating back to last episode and now this game right here, I think our record is 4-1-1, and in the game that we drew and in the game that we lost, combined we only conceded one goal, and it was against title contenders Arsenal and Chelsea. So I can't be too mad about that, and we're playing pretty well in the cup. So things are looking good, but we just have to find our shooting boots per se and score more goals if we will be winning any silverware and be playing any type of European football next season, which is something to look forward to in the transfer window, which is coming up very soon, which is in actually 2 weeks exactly. So going to the transfer window, we will be looking at players to bring in more goals. That's where this episode ends, guys. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.